Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3, or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings, 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria, or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
Good afternoon to you all. Assalamu alaikum. I bring you greetings from your sisters, from your daughters, mothers and aunts, and women of the Gambia. We are here today to physically hand over the private member bill, which is proposing to reserve seats for women in the National Assembly. And thank you very much for granting us this opportunity to be here with you today. Within the CSO Gender Platform, which is a women-led organization of women rights activists and women-led organizations, I will just introduce ourselves so that you know who is who, and then we will go into the program proper. My name is Manjai. I am selected as the president of the Gender Platform, which was formed in 2017 to ensure that gender is mainstream into the transitional justice program that the new Gambia government has embarked on. And this was as a result to influence policies and programs that the TJ program consists of, namely the TRRC, the CRC, the institutional and legislative reforms, as well as the security sector reform. I'll just go into the detail of why we're here today. This platform was formed as a result of the transitional justice program, but it seems it will go post-transitional justice program because as you know, it was formed in 2017, as I said, with the support from the UNDP and the Office of the High Commission for Human Rights. to influence the transitional justice program as far as gender mainstreaming is concerned. The women in this platform are drawn from all over the Gambia. And we are happy that you have granted us this opportunity to see us. This shows how important women's issues and empowerment are to you and your party. Our visit today is to present you a private member bill proposed to reserve seats for women, because it's been since independence that women's representation in key decision-making positions in the Gambia remain much to be desired. In the legislature and the executive, where major decisions are made, women representation remains low. So the gender platform, contributing to the Transitional Justice Program, with support from the International Republican Institute, hired the services of Mrs. Manjai to draft this bill, reserving seats for women and people living with disabilities, which will not only increase women's representation, but adhere to the 1997 Constitution provision on equality between men and women, international obligations such as the CSO Convention, regional instrument of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of women, as well as the ECOWAS Democracy and Good Governance Protocol. We are happy to formally present to you this bill today. And we identified Honorable Manjai to present this bill as a private member in the National Assembly. And the bill proposed 14 seats for women to be reserved, drawn from the 7 administrative regions in the Gambia, and 2 seats for persons living with disability. And we envisage that, we hope, that this will come into effect in 2022 during the National Assembly elections. Mr. Darboe, we will inform you that the 53 single-member seats remain untouched. It is reserved as they are the traditional seats that our elections, our National Assembly elections go through. Men and women can contest within the 53 member states, within the 53 single-member constituencies. But in the 7 administrative regions, we are proposing that 2 seats are allocated for women only, which will cumulate to 14 seats for women. And also 2 extra seats for persons living with disabilities, who will be elected by the Gambia Federation for the Disabled, the umbrella organization for people living with disabilities. Today, we are here before you to share the groundbreaking legislation in the Gambia, if passed by the legislature. As I reiterated earlier on, it will align Gambia to fulfill its obligations and also ensure that international norms and standards are set forth by this country. Because those who have experience in politics know that entrenching measures and structures for gender parity in political participation requires vigorous advocacy and lobbying. And that is why we are here today. Because we understand that your party holds several members of parliament. And this bill will have to go through the process of being voted in by members of parliament. And we think that we can count on your support, that you will ensure that maximum support is given for this bill to pass, inshallah. The journey towards reserving seats for women started in November last year, with a review of the 1997 Constitution, which identified key barriers to women's political and economic participation, and made specific recommendations for amendments in line with universal democratic standards and principles. This review was also extended to the 2020 draft Constitution, and other relevant legislation, including the Women's Act, the National Gender Policy, and the National Assembly Standing Orders. In this regard, an eminent lawyer and renowned legal draftsperson conducted the review and also prepared the draft bill, and was also assisted along the way by a technical committee comprising of civil society stakeholders. In April 2021, the draft bill was validated at a meeting attended by women representing political parties, and I can attest that Madam Ramzia was there and all the women from the platform. The media was invited, academia was invited, national and local government, as well as the private sector were also invited, just to provide transparency and also have this document legitimized. Mr. Darboe, I would like to share with you the reasons why the women of the Gambia are seeking an amendment of the 1997 Constitution to reserve seats for special groups, mainly women and people living with disabilities. Gambia has an international obligation to implement the legislation. The commitments enshrined in both the CEDAW and the Maputo Protocol. This bill seeks to ensure that Gambia complies with its international and regional obligations. Also, Section 28 of the Constitution guarantees women equal treatment and opportunities in political activities. This bill may not guarantee equal treatment, but it will start us on the road towards equal representation at the National Assembly. Section 15, the Women's Act, provides every organ, body, and public institution, authority, and private enterprise to adopt special temporary measures. This bill will therefore provide some of the temporary special measures as instructed under the Act. The women sitting here today, before you, are very excited about this bill. They represent women from rural and urban areas, women activists, and women politicians, as well as defenders of human rights. And they have come with specific requests to you. We are soliciting your support as a party political leader. This support of the bill, to support this bill and its implementation if passed. The implementation of this bill will require that women present themselves, should have some resources to go in for this, and we solicit that those resources are allocated. Finally, as we approach the 2021-2023 electoral cycle, may we remind you that this bill and its bundle of increased participation and fulfillment can only be enjoyed if there is peace. And as a political party leader, we are reminding you also that elections are a potential source of conflict. And we are worried because where there is conflict, women and girls and persons who are differently able suffer a great deal. Recent happenings of violence to women and girls in private and public spheres in the country have sent a wave of fear to us as women, mothers, aunts, and sisters, and to some degree to our men. Peace is a rare commodity that this group values so much, and therefore has identified all party leaders and politicians as our peace champions. On behalf of the delegation, Ramadan Mubarak, and thank you for this opportunity. And we look forward to the discussion today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And thank you very much, my dear Amuje sister, and my wonderful Auntie Ramzia for accommodating us today. As our national president mentioned, the Gambia have not only signed protocols to promote gender empowerment, the Gambia had also ratified those protocols. It is the implementation part that is lacking, and that is why this gender platform took it upon ourselves to ensure that we are en route to implementing laws that would empower women. And again, like she mentioned, Section 28 of the Constitution gave men and women equal rights, but it is our customs, our traditions, and our norm that in defect gave us inferiority towards our male counterparts. And Honorable, we know, we understand, and we've seen your party's drive in empowering women. Even though I am a politician and not a member of your political party, I follow the trend in the uplift of women, looking into your party executive and the amount of women in your party executive. And I think that needs to be applauded. And for that effect, we would love to have you on board as an ambassador of this movement. Yesterday, we visited the President of the Republic of the Gambia, who also has representation in Parliament. We recognize the importance of being inclusive, and we also know the importance of representation in Parliament. And for your party, having the majority of seats in Parliament, and also for your party being the biggest party in this country, we would lean and we would expect your support in this cause in empowering women. I think it will be of great significance, Your Excellency, if you would support this cause and if you would give us your commitment in ensuring that this bill is passed before the next parliamentary elections, so that the Gambia can strive hand in hand with countries like Senegal and countries like Rwanda with 44% and 62% of female representation, respectively. Your Excellency, I think I will stop here, but then again, I cannot stop without thanking you for your swift response in seeing us here today in your office. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Ba Ousainu ñu ngi laa nuyu. Jigéeni Gambia ñoo laay nuyu. Ñu ngi laay nuyu sa tur ak sa sant. Boo gisee tey jigéeni Gambia yëpp jóg ñëw seen bota xonxa. Suñ bota xonxa moo tax ñu àkki leen. Fii Gambia yëpp Gambia jigéen yi yëpp ñoo fi taxaw tey. Te ku nekk si gox la jógee. Turi gox nga jógee moo tax nga ñëw fii. Léegi nag jigéeni Gambia luñ bugga ñu ni tam nañ am kaddu si néegi député yi mboolem lu ñuy tànn nañ si boole jigéen yi sakka ñu jànguti jigéen ñu jànguti ñu teguñ leen fen nekkuñ dara te ñun ñoo leen di tàccul ñooy jënd aso bi ñooy génnee suñ xaalis yi di leen langa boobu nag lañ sonna dañ bugga langal suñu bopp langa boobu moom lañ sonna dañ bugga langal suñu bopp léegi nag loolu mooy suñ tànk fii ñu ngi lay ñaanal nga jàppale ñu si nag nga gën ñoo jàppale ñu ngi lay ñaanal jarageen jëf suma kàddu du sori
lawyer Ousainu Darboe suñ ko la ñun person with disability si li ñu wax rek dañ ko dooliwaat mooy ne dooleel jigéen ñi waaye dafa fekk ñu war a njëkk a dooleel suñ boppa ñun ñoo war a njëkk a dooleel suñ boppa suñ dooleelee suñ boppa ñu mun ñoo dooleel waaye suñ dooleelu suñ boppa keneen duñu mun a dooleel te ñun ñi fi toog ñi ñeg dañ pare pour dooleel suñ boppa si naka la tey lu jigéen lu Gambia bi xewle jigéen war na see gis boppam taxaw ñu am kaddu war a xam ne nii jigéen ñi lañ ñi fi nekka ñu ngi fi right now waaye tey ba ëllëg li ma wax rek fu ma toll dañ ñun jigéen ñi dañ expect njiiti réew bu jigéen boo xamante ne dina mun a taxaw ñun ñëpp ñu support ko nekk si gannaawam waaye dañoo may seen honorable ba mu toog ba pare su wàccee ñun ñu door a isi njiit jigéen waaye ñu ngi leen a gërëm di jaajëfal ñëpp buntay mun am nañ yaakaar ne mu ngi ibbeeku parce que ñu ngi dox jéego yoo xam ne yu am solo la te jéego yu am solo yooyu noonu moo ñoo mun a àggale fi nga xam ne foofu lañ bugg a taxaw foofu lañ bugg a eega honorable yow kenn du la wax si sa parti bi ne lii la waaye nag gën a la gestu jigéen ñi incha allah rabbi si sa political party bi parce que yaa ngi sa executive bi jigéen ñi bari nañ fa waaye tam na nga bàyyi xel ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk si rural area bi xeex bi daf dee bari foofu noonu si party election si taxawee parce que nga gis ne kuñ ne dangaa taxawal jigéen ñi ne la jigéen du fi taxaw yaa ngi understand wala fii jigéen du fi am kaddu loolu nag mu gën ñoo delloo gannaaw na tey 60% of women yoo xam ne ñoo nekk si Gambia bi ñu nekk jigéen te mënuñoo fexe ba ekkati seen voice ñu déggal leen so political party buñ dem dinañ fa jooy lii yéen ñu mun a jàppale jigéen dafa mos taxaw si foofu noonu ku bugga whether you like it or not ngeen support ko mu mun a dem dugga si néegi député yi pour mun a liñ soxla ñun ñu mun see aaga jërë ngeen jëf honorable thank you my lady thank you very much.
A follow-up to the study that the African Center carried out of political party manifestos and constitutions. We found out that UDP was also one of the political parties that responded. We found out that, yes, they had a lot of female members, but at that point in time, there was a female deputy. And it was one of the few political parties that did have female representative. But then, when you look at their constitution, it was also very representative. It was talking about gender equality, and the law was there. The rules were there. But then when you come to practice, that's where we saw the discrepancy. And today I want to add my voice to those of the previous speakers to urge Mr. Darboe to consider ensuring that those 53 seats, that they will be fielding female candidates as well. Yes, I know that the main objective of being here is talking about the extra 14 seats. But then that does not preclude the fact that as political parties, you become gateways to parliament. Today, as we sit here, Gambia has less than 10% representation. And when you look at the African Women's Protocol and even CEDAW, the Gambia has put it into law in the Women's Act. And there have been some provisions for quotas and even to consider ensuring that women are represented. But it's not happening. And we want to call on your leadership to consider fielding female candidates that will ensure that in the next 3 to 5 years, we won't be even needing these reserve seats. And we will make sure that men and women are at par to vie for positions. I want to thank you for your kind attention.
Honorable Your Excellency, Lawyer Ousainu Darboe, the ladies here, party militants and executives of the party, the president of the CSO gender platform and our technicians around here, the members of the CSO platform, greetings to you all. As a veteran gender activist, I have really decided to join this platform because this is something that we have been fighting for decades, since Jawara era. I know women have done a lot, women have tried a lot, and they have been really the people behind electing our male counterparts. But women have not enjoyed those decision-making positions. And in consonance with the international community and with the legal instruments that we have all ratified, such as what the
President mentioned, like the CEDAW, the Maputo Protocol, and even our own, the National Women's Act, they have all really put in specific articles and the Constitution of 1997 that women should be equal and participate at all levels of development. And political participation of women and political representation is key, because that is where all decisions are made. And what all the other speakers have spoken about, we have all seen it. The National Assembly, we have only 3 elected. The other 3 are nominated. Mr. Darboe, we are here to appeal to you as the biggest party. And also, I know you were one time a Minister of Women's Affairs as Vice President. The Ministry of Women's Affairs was under your purview as the Vice President, and you know the plight of women. And I'm sure with this bill, you can engage your party members in Parliament so that this bill can be passed, the 14 seats. And also with the elections, we don't want to limit ourselves to only the 14 seats. You know, the 14 seats are just temporary measures that are put in place so that next time it will be, when we have more women, we can change that. But the actual 53 seats, whenever we are selecting participants, we really appeal to you to include women. Because women, as they say, our rural women, they have said it all. They have been the ones clapping and dancing, buying ashobi, using their own money to put in men, and the men forget them whilst they are there. So with that humble note, I would like to once again thank you for your prompt response to our request. I hope that our bill will be passed. Thank you.
I think for us in the United Democratic Party, there is recognition of this particular gap, and a lot of efforts are being made, and I'm sure the party leader will speak to that. The United Democratic Party currently has 14 women at the national executive. We have the first female national president elected, the first female deputy party leader elected. We have, a representative of a woman in the National Assembly. We have 8 youths in the national executive. We also have a representative of people with disabilities, also in the national executive. So our constitution also talks about having 30% of women in the national executive. And a lot of efforts are being made to ensure that the United Democratic Party also, it's not about competition, it's about ensuring that women have their rightful place in where they deserve to be. But the United Democratic Party has also been setting the pace of being the first of many, of having the first female national deputy party leader, the first national president elected, and so on and so forth. And I think, like others have spoken, our party leader is already a champion of this cause, and we have no doubt that this is something that will continue to be part of the discourse and the dialogue that we will have within the party to ensure that more women. As we speak now, we have a program that we are engaging a lot of women, not just from the United Democratic Party, but a lot of young women, having dialogue with them to engage them in political, to be part of the political discourse and also to engage in politics. Not just to join the UDP, but also to join any party, because we realize that a lot of young women are very hesitant to engage in politics. And we're trying to work with them to nurture them and to identify where their challenges are, what their concerns are of not engaging in politics, and talking to them about the importance of ensuring that they are represented and that they sit on the table where decisions that affect their lives is being considered. So there are a lot of measures, there are a lot of activities that we are doing, not just using women as cheerleaders, but using women engaging on important issues that affect their lives and their livelihoods. So I just wanted to stop there, and I'll hand over to
members of the gender platform. I'm really flattered by your request to see me and members of my team to discuss this very important issue of women representation at the National Assembly. It's very important because every important decision of any government has its roots in the National Assembly. So to discuss that with you, I think I'm kind of flattered. I've listened to your representations, but what catches me most is the woman from Manjai, West. And I think, Mary, that we've been electing the governments. We are the ones who buy asobis. We are the ones who clap. In effect, we are the kingmakers. But yet, we cannot make ourselves kings. And I think the role of the Gambian women in the politics is one that has to be appreciated. I want to really pay tribute to the Gambian women who have really taken it upon themselves, convinced their relatives that politics is not the exclusive reserve of men. Women have to be active participants. And I recall Amisila, I pay tribute to her, Amisila of Doi, for her daringness, her courage to really go into the political field with the hope that she could be in an institution where she would influence decisions. I equally want to pay tribute to the current speaker, Madam Mariam Denton, who has for several years devoted herself, committed herself to ensuring that women are heard in this country. There are several other women. Well, I've selected this because they appear to me, not only appear, but they are the ones who are lettered. The majority of the Gambian women who are participating in politics are illiterates. They are the ones who have been engaged in politics, who have shown no fear, who have shown that they are selfless, that their country matters to them, irrespective of their political affiliation. And I believe that if those illiterate women, the stance and the position they took, if the majority of our educated women had taken such position, we wouldn't have been sitting here and advocating for an affirmative action. Since 1997, I have been calling on women to run for elective offices. In fact, I encourage the late Anta Samba to run the councillor for Banjul City Council at a period when the political environment was very, very hostile. And I believe probably because of the hostile nature of the political terrain in the past few years, that probably had been some inhibition. But I do not think that any longer exists. So this affirmative action, I believe, is progressive, and we have supported the draft constitution, every clause of it, because we do not believe that one should cherry pick. Every clause of the draft constitution we had supported, and this female representation, I found it so appealing. I found that it's an avenue to encourage women to really participate in politics. And I tell you, as I was reading that draft, I started thinking what I should do as a party with the Combos or West Coast region. It's divided into, you have two sub-regions, Combos and Phoenix. My thinking is get somebody from the Phoenix and get somebody from Combos. Yeah? And also for LRR, get one from Kiang, get one from Jara, and then together they will represent these regions very effectively in the National Assembly. But unfortunately, the bill, as we all know, lost the necessary oxygen it needed. So you couldn't breathe any further and leading to his death. But that notwithstanding, I think the steps taken by you very commendable. We as a party have shown our commitment to that clause as drafted in the draft constitution. And that commitment we are not resilient from. That is why when we invited our representatives, we gave them specific instructions that they should go supporting Madam. So that my only observation was that was removed from the schedule and put it as a paragraph of the section. So that you just read the sections straight and there's no going back to a schedule anywhere. But whatever, whether it's in a schedule or part of the section, the intention, the objective of it is well supported, and we can assure you that we in our party will give it the maximum support. And I hope that this also does not suffer the same fate as the draft constitution did. Now, Madam Wada has told you how much we value women participation. Virtually, our party is being run by women. The deputy party leader is a woman. The national president is a woman. The second deputy national president is a woman. The senior administrative secretary is a woman. And these are key in the run of any political organization. And we have taken the decision that will ensure that 30% of the elective offices, we sponsor candidates to fill 30% of the elective offices. Because we do not believe that merely having this affirmative action is sufficient. Believe that maybe there should be just an addition. And if I may suggest, we have a draft provision on the nomination of 2 persons by the president, one of them to be a person with disabilities, and I think the other one, I'm a female. But you will consider this. Why don't you maintain the number of nominated MPs by president and give a greater number of that to women? So that if you have 5 nominated members, as stated now in the Constitution, 3 of them to be women. So you will have that 3 added to the 14, then you have 17. This is something that I suggest that you might think about. Because it is you want to have more voices. And I thought that this probably is a way of giving more voices to women in the National Assembly. If I may tell you that as far as UDP is concerned, there's no question of anyone saying that, well, I probably might lose a seat. We had considered in 2017, we had considered certain seats to other parties. So we did not have any candidate contesting in those constituencies, and we are going to contest in those constituencies in the next National Assembly elections. It will be for the women in those constituencies to show their interest and seek sponsorship by UDP. We have, I think, about 11 constituencies. Of course, we have 8 other constituencies that have become vacant. When you say vacant, not being a UDP, without a UDP candidate. Those constituencies too, we could consider if there are people, women who are interested in contesting in those constituencies. There is not a guarantee that they'll be selected, but there's a potential for them to be selected to contest in those constituencies. So as far as we are concerned, we are prepared and ready to have as many members of the National Assembly from the other side. And I don't know how soon this will happen, but I believe some of the inhibitions is language. This lady from Nyamina West, if you are to allow proceedings in National Assembly to be conducted in one of the accepted local languages, I think she could be a fantastic National Assembly member. But because she has not gone to school, she does not ABC, so whatever good ideas she has, she cannot put it out. And if she meets the other political leaders male, she'll probably be overawed by their presence and not really come out and say what she actually wants to say. Yeah? So probably this is an issue. It may be late to have it included in this draft. But one thing I can tell you is when we come in, that draft constitution will be presented to the Gambian people as it is. And let the Gambian people decide on it. We will not remove from it any clause. Because that way, the legislature can work on identifying the 1 or 2 languages, local languages, which could be also the official or could also be the parliamentary language in this country. So, Madam President, take it for granted that the UDP is supporting this bill, because we cannot oppose it, having supported the draft constitution, which contains the same provision, which has the same objective. So it was just, I think, as a matter of courtesy that you really come here. But then, when representatives went to the meeting, they had already assured you that, we will support the bill. And again, I thank you, all of you, for taking this initiative. I see that Hannah has been, in the background for several years, pushing the agenda for equality in this country. And equality, of course, does not merely mean that you have a right to vote or have a right to vote, but more than that. And it is this equality that we are all aspiring to. And I can assure you that with the UDP government, the highest decision-making body in this country, the cabinet, you will see women women that will not compromise, because it is one thing to really hold an office just parading that these are women, polling particular offices without really being people who will refuse to be compromised, because that is important. And I want to thank you all, and I hope that, or I know, let me say I know, that my other colleagues, political leaders, party leaders, will support this bill. They have no choice but to support this bill. Thank you.
Mr. Ousainu Darboe, party leader of the UDP, for those commitments and support to this process. We are very happy that you've not only received us, but you have assured us your support. And frankly, we would like this bill to come into effect into 2022, but the tabling of the bill, the process has begun, and it will reach the National Assembly in the November sitting for it to be passed. Hopefully, after going through all the processes. And in doing so, as I said earlier on, it will require some voting, it will require some, by all 39 members of the parliament should vote this yes for it to pass. And since you have members of your party in the National Assembly, we would just like you to assure them of your commitment and please advocate for us, for them to pass this. Be our ambassador in this, so that come 2022 National Assembly elections, this will come into effect. And we have no doubt that from the words that you have stated, we have no doubt that we will celebrate this, inshallah. And this is the bill itself. And this one is the explanatory memorandum of the bill, why the bill. And the final text review is the process that coming with this bill was done. And also, this explains what is a private member's bill. So in detail, this is all what was done for the bill to be drafted by Mrs. Janet Manjai. And it was civil society led, and all the women support this process. So thank you very much. And I hope that you will find time and peruse through the document and understand it fully. And hopefully, if it is passed, if it is at the National Assembly, and you want us to have more women, we will equally celebrate it. Thank you.
When we touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
So she became mine and see the
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
Agada.
Mbijan aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Ah, sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Ah,
mbare mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Ah, janno mi yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Ha. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ha. Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wala nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi ma nin domorol din fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ma kum fa kendol sotale je.
Ha e wo moyo diat ha.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e binaji.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.